You're watching DX Recaps, the place where we break down movies fast, clear, and spoiler-packed. Whether you missed it, forgot it, or just want a quick refresh, we've got you covered. Let's get into the story. In ancient China, Emperor Khan watches his daughter Turandot run into the throne room and trip over a hole in the carpet, making her cry. The carpet represents the known world, and the hole symbolizes Malvia, a small peaceful kingdom with which China has not yet formed relations. To fill the missing piece, Khan sends his army to Malvia, led by General Buon. In Malvia, the royal family owns 3 magical bracelets, one for the king, one for the queen, and one for the prince. These bracelets are sacred family heirlooms, and no one is ever supposed to wear all 3 at once. Doing so would grant immense power but also bring a terrible curse. Prince Koloff is training with a sword under Master Zhou and quickly adapts to the Chinese fighting style. Their peaceful life is suddenly shattered when Buon's army attacks. Flaming arrows rain down as the soldiers storm the castle. The Malvian army fights bravely, but Buon's forces are far larger and mercilessly slaughter anyone who resists. In the end, Malvia falls. Among the bodies of the royal family, Buon finds the 3 magical bracelets and takes them back to Emperor Khan. On Turandot's birthday, she opens countless gifts and eventually finds a box containing the bracelets. She puts 2 on and tries to give the 3rd to her father, but Khan places it on her arm as well. This immediately activates the curse. The bracelets reshape themselves and tighten painfully around her arm, making her scream. No matter how hard she tries, Turandot cannot remove them, and soon she loses the ability to see color. Khan considers cutting the bracelets off with a knife, but when he approaches, Turandot sees his face as a skeleton and faints in fear. Later, the high priest tells Khan that the curse can only be lifted by a future suitor. When Turandot turns 15, she will present 3 riddles. Anyone who solves them will break the curse, but failure means death. If the curse is not broken before she turns 18, her heart will turn to ice and she will lose her sanity. Meanwhile, Master Zhou escapes with Prince Koloff, who has lost all his memories. To protect him, Zhou changes the boy's name to Blue Eyes and takes him to his hometown, where he reunites with his family. Blue Eyes quickly becomes close friends with Zhou's daughter. Years later, Blue Eyes is now a teenager determined to master the art of fireworks. Zhou's daughter, Lu has become like a sister to him and constantly distracts him while he practices. One morning, she plays a prank that ruins his firework and wastes his last supply of gunpowder. Feeling guilty, Lu takes him to the mines, where they secretly watch the masters create spectacular fireworks shaped like a phoenix. They are spotted by a guard and are forced to run through the mines. As guards try to stop them, the 2 shove them aside, leap over furniture, and do everything they can to slow the pursuit. Just as they are about to be caught, the firework master throws sparks at the guards, allowing Blue Eyes and Lu to escape through a hidden tunnel. At the palace, Buon checks on Turandot, who has grown into a beautiful but emotionally cold princess. Khan orders Buon to train her, leaving Turandot no choice but to fight him. Because of the curse, Turandot can move at incredible speed, and Buon struggles to land even one hit. When he breaks her loom and grabs a wooden piece, she attacks him directly but reveals her lack of proper sword technique. Angered by his criticism, Turandot runs outside at superhuman speed and waits for Buon to cut his cheek. He switches from wood to his real sword, using its reflection to track her movements. Buon grabs Turandot and quickly disarms her. At that moment, Blue Eyes and Lu emerge from the tunnel into the palace garden. Seeing Buon holding Turandot, Blue Eyes misunderstands and attacks to defend her. Using the skills taught by Zhou, he puts up an impressive fight. Buon recognizes the fighting style immediately as Zhou's. The duel continues until Buon's experience allows him to overpower Blue Eyes. As Buon prepares to strike, Lu tries to stop him with her whip. Buon easily deflects it and swings his sword, but Turandot thrusts her arm forward, and the blade shatters against the bracelets. Guards rush in to arrest the intruders, but Turandot stops them, claiming Blue Eyes and Lu are under her protection. She announces that she will personally train Blue Eyes from now on. The 2 teenagers begin training together daily, and a strong bond forms between them. Turandot is amazed that Blue Eyes can keep up with her speed despite the curse. One afternoon during training, Blue Eyes accidentally touches the bracelets and suddenly experiences flashbacks of his homeland's invasion, though he does not understand them. Meanwhile, Buon asks the high priest to grant him great power. In a hidden lake inside a cave, the priest performs a ritual that briefly covers Buon in gold. but it fails and the gold vanishes. Buon wonders if he must kill Khan to gain power, but the priest suggests another path, marrying Turandot. Later, during a full moon, the one night he is forbidden to visit, Blue Eyes sneaks into Turandot's room. He finds her bound with layers of fabric and begins cutting them, ignoring her warnings. The bracelets are digging painfully into her skin, and once freed, her eyes change. She sees Blue Eyes as a skeleton. The curse takes control, and she turns the fabric into a weapon, attacking him. Blue Eyes blocks her attacks with his sword and speaks to her sincerely, helping her regain control. Furious that he broke her rule and nearly died, Turandot orders him to never come back. A few days later, Blue Eyes becomes a royal guard. He helps protect Prince Yu Thong of Lampu when the prince arrives for a festival. Turandot remains confined in the palace, using her powers to work faster at the looms. Many men have already died attempting her riddles, but Khan insists she try again with the visiting prince. In town, Blue Eyes finally enjoys his time off at the festival with Lu and her friend Yuang. They notice Yu Thong's ornate dagger. Lu uses her whip to snatch it, sending it flying to Yuang, who runs off. Yu Thong chases him through town, catching him after several jumps, but Yuang throws the dagger to another friend and tells him to flee. Yu Thong's bodyguard attacks Lu but she dodges effortlessly using her whip. When she climbs a weak structure to escape, the bodyguard collapses it, but she jumps clear just in time. Yu Thong runs into danger while chasing the thief, and Blue Eyes saves him moments before the structure falls. Blue Eyes makes Lu return everything she stole and then shows Yu Thong around the festival. He even takes him to the mines and creates a small firework shaped like a tree to bless him. Yu Thong reveals that he has come to solve the riddles and that his brother died trying. Noticing Blue Eyes' feelings for Turandot, Yu Thong declares them sworn brothers. The next day, Yu Thong visits Turandot pretending to attempt the riddles, but suddenly draws a dagger and tries to kill her to avenge his brother. Turandot moves instantly catches the dagger and uses her threads to knock down the bodyguard and restrain Yu Thong, reminding him that his brother willingly accepted the challenge. During a public ceremony, Khan announces that Yu Thong will be forgiven if he can answer the riddles. Blue Eyes, standing guard, watches sunlight reflect off the bracelets and suffers another violent flashback of the massacre. Seeking answers, he steps forward and asks to take Yu Thong's place. He claims that as Yu Thong's sworn brother, it is his duty. As the crowd cheers, Khan agrees. The high priest explains that fireworks will explode if Blue Eyes answers correctly. If not, he will be executed. Turandot approaches, and Blue Eyes admits he is doing this to save her. She responds by speaking the first riddle whispered by the bracelet. What is born of darkness and dies at dawn? Blue Eyes focuses and has a vision of his mother guiding him through the castle. The vision shifts to the day of the massacre. The wounded king appears, unable to stop the invaders. The queen forces all 3 bracelets onto his arm, saying there is no other choice. Power floods the king, and he brutally slaughters the attackers, roaring with unnatural strength. Back in the present, a bell rings, signaling time is up. With no answer, Blue Eyes is taken away for execution. As he is carried toward death, he sees another vision, his mother telling him to flee with Joe because he is the kingdom's last hope. Taking this as a sign, Blue Eyes shouts the answer, hope. 1 bracelet breaks. However, Turandot is not present to witness it. Before Blue Eyes can be killed, Joe leaps in, defeating guards and throwing a lance that saves Blue Eyes from falling into boiling water. Fireworks explode in the sky, confirming the answer is correct. Buon secretly steals a fragment of the broken bracelet and orders his men to prevent the fireworks from launching even if Blue Eyes answers again. The next day, under heavy rain, Turandot presents the second riddle. Women are beautiful for it. Men are unsettled for it, yet they die together when it turns into unbreakable ice. Blue Eyes has another vision. His father sees everyone as skeletons and loses control, killing his own men. Joe escapes with young Koloff while the queen tries to protect them, only to be killed by the cursed king. Time runs out again. Blue Eyes is tied to a pole and sentenced to 1,000 cuts. As the executioner begins, the pain triggers another vision. The king realizes what he has done, breaks his sword, and ends his own life in grief and guilt. Back in the present, Blue Eyes cries out that the answer is blood. Another bracelet breaks at the palace. The servants try to launch a firework using an arrow, but the rain ruins the plan, making the firework fall into a puddle. Before they can try again, Buon's men arrive and stop them. As chaos breaks out in the palace, the ceremony announces that Blue Eyes will be executed. Joe suddenly shouts that the rain might ruin the fireworks, giving Buon a reason to step in. Buon decides to fight Joe and reveals that they are brothers. While Joe confronts Buon, Yu Thong, Lu and their friends fight the guards to protect him. Joe uses special sword techniques and briefly gains the upper hand. Lu tries to reach Blue Eyes, but the guards overwhelm her and push her off the platform. Joe abandons his fight with Buon and joins the others to save Blue Eyes, but Lu is captured, forcing everyone to stop. Inside the palace, Tyrandit uses her magic to kill the soldiers and save the servants. She finds the arrow just as Blue Eyes insults Buon. Furious, Buon throws his sword at him, but magic stops it. Tyrandit flies down and announces that Blue Eyes answered the riddle correctly, so he is set free. That night, Blue Eyes tells Joe that his memories have fully returned. He decides to leave the kingdom that destroyed his people. The next morning, Blue Eyes and Lu prepare to leave on horseback, but Joe doesn't arrive. Suddenly, Buon's men surround them and chase them across an open field. Blue Eyes turns to fight, but Tyrandit appears, disarms the soldiers, and scares them away. As Blue Eyes tries to escape again, Tyrandit blocks him and knocks him down. Her servants capture Lu and surround Blue Eyes, hitting him to warn him. When Tyrandit demands the truth, Blue Eyes admits he regrets accepting the riddle challenge and challenges her to a duel. Tyrandit defeats him easily and recites the final riddle, saying it can bring freedom or slavery and that lighting ice only brings more cold. Blue Eyes escapes her grip, and Tyrandit begs him for help, but he refuses. She steps forward, and her sword pierces his chest. Before passing out, Blue Eyes whispers her name. Suddenly, Tyrandit's arm begins to hurt. The answer to the riddle is her own name. Her bracelet breaks, and she collapses as well. When she wakes up, color returns to her eyes, and she can finally see the beauty of the world. Later, the royal doctor tells Khan that Blue Eyes survived because his organs are positioned differently. Tyrandit visits him and announces they will marry the next day, but Blue Eyes says she must first learn who he truly is. Khan sends his men to investigate his identity. Meanwhile, Buon collects pieces of the broken bracelets and gives them to the high priest, who throws them into a lake to begin a dark ritual. Buon steps into the water, and dark magic fills his body with power. His wounds heal instantly, proving the ritual worked. He kills the high priest to silence him. That evening, Blue Eyes gets drunk at a restaurant, upset that he loves the enemy's daughter. Lu overhears and rushes to tell Tyrandit the truth. At the same time, Buon visits Joe for answers about Blue Eyes. Joe refuses, and they fight, but Buon keeps healing. Joe escapes through a window. Soon after, the high priest reaches the mines to ask for help. Meanwhile, Blue Eyes is captured by Buon's men at his home. Mysterious soldiers attack and kill some of them, and their leader fires an arrow at Buon. He catches it and threatens Blue Eyes, knowing Tyrandit fired it. Buon reveals he found a jacket with the Malvian royal symbol, proving Blue Eyes is the enemy. Tyrandit offers anything to save him, so Buon demands her hand in marriage. The next morning, Blue Eyes is brought before Khan, who frees him in gratitude for saving Tyrandit, even though he is an enemy. Blue Eyes still wants revenge. Before Buon can silence him, Tyrandit arrives with the high priest and reveals the truth. She explains that Khan ordered a peaceful visit to Malvia, but Buon wanted conquest. Buon killed the envoy and blamed Malvia to start a war. Buon admits it's true and kills the high priest. He then unleashes his soldiers and reveals hidden fireworks meant to destroy the palace. However, the firework master anticipated this and activates the fireworks, forming a massive dragon that wipes out Buon's army. Enraged, Buon slaughters several guards and challenges Khan for the throne. Khan accepts and uses a meteor-forged sword, but it slowly breaks against Buon's power. A massive battle erupts. Fighters use all their skills, including Lu's whip and Yuthong's strength. Blue Eyes and Joe fight Buon together but fail. Buon stabs Joe, enraging Blue Eyes, but he's defeated again. Buon chokes Tyrandit until he sees Joe standing. Lu tries to stop him but is thrown aside. Blue Eyes hits Buon with a box, and Tyrandit drags him away. Buon follows, allowing the others to defeat the remaining soldiers. Using a secret tunnel, Blue Eyes and Tyrandit reach the mines and attack Buon with fireworks, but he remains unharmed. He destroys the area until Blue Eyes pushes Tyrandit to safety. Stronger fireworks damage Buon's armor, but he keeps healing. Finally, a statue collapses on him. Thinking it's over, Blue Eyes and Tyrandit nearly kiss, but Buon emerges. He breaks Blue Eye's sword and attacks again. Tyrande is struck, and her blood lands on Buon's shoulder, burning his skin. As she falls, Tyrande throws her blood-covered sword to Blue Eyes. He catches it and stabs Buon. This time, the blade pierces him, destroying him completely. Blue Eyes rushes to Tyrande, who calls him Koloff and tells him the secret of the fireworks before dying in his arms. Later, Koloff travels back to Malvia, lighting beautiful fireworks to bless every city he passes. When he finally returns home, he rebuilds his kingdom and becomes king. During the celebration, he sees Tyrande's spirit light one final firework before disappearing. And that's a wrap on today's recap. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a plot twist. Got a movie you want recapped? Drop it in the comments below. This is DX Recaps. See you in the next one.